Imagine a force capable of striking almost anywhere on Earth with near instantaneous speed, penetrating any defense line. This is the power projection embodied by the United States Air Force, often the first in, last out spearhead of American military might in any conflict of force that commands the wary respect of every major world power. Though not the first nation to establish an air force, the lessons of World War I, the devastating efficiency of air power, were not lost on the Americans. Since then, they relentlessly developed their aerial capabilities, forging not just the most powerful, but the most preeminent air force globally. Its dominance extends beyond the atmosphere, reaching into space and cyberspace. Backed by an arsenal including over 400 intercontinental ballistic missiles (ICBMs) and 170 military satellites. Yet, the true backbone remains its fleet of aircraft, with over 5,217 military aircraft out of a total of over 13,200 across all branches. The USAF is, by sheer scale, the largest air force on the planet. But it's not just about numbers. According to Flight Global's 2021 World Air Forces report, the American inventory is overwhelmingly composed of the world's most advanced military aircraft. Consider its strategic bomber force alone a powerful deterrent tool. Beyond the legendary B-52s, famed from skies over Vietnam, the U.S. wields 60 to B-1 Lancer bombers, masters of swift, low-altitude penetration strikes, and most notably, it possesses 21 B-2 Spirit stealth bombers, capable of reaching targets over 11,000 kilometers away, virtually unseen. Add to this nearly 400 cutting-edge fifth-generation stealth fighters, the F-22 Raptor and F-35 Lightning II. Even its older workhorses remain formidable. Nearly 7,900 fourth-generation F-16 Fighting Falcons and 490 F-15 Eagles stand combat-ready. For perspective, Russia's Air Force fields around 3,829 military aircraft. Even including naval aviation, the total barely crosses 4,100. China operates roughly 2,080 for combat-ready aircraft, including relatively dated designs like the J-7, a MiG-21 copy, and J-8, based on the Su-15. Even its most advanced fifth-gen fighter, the Chengdu J-20, is believed to face engine challenges hindering full combat deployment. The gap remains vast. Catching up to American air power is a long road for any nation. However, air power alone, especially against determined adversaries, can sometimes prove less decisive without seamless coordination with naval forces. The sheer presence of the United States Navy, with its overwhelming firepower, high mobility, and global network of bases, is often enough to make any potential faux pas before considering hostile action. This constitutes the second major pillar of American deterrence. While reports, like the Pentagon's 2020 assessment of China's military, acknowledge Beijing's significant naval modernization drive, fueled by ambitions in the South China Sea and East China Sea, and the goal of becoming a true blue water navy capable of operating far from home, and even note areas where China's scale might challenge the U.S. The overall strategic picture remains clear. For now, the U.S. Navy maintains a commanding lead in strategic deterrence. Both offensively and defensively, America operates the world's largest fleet of aircraft carriers, 10 nuclear-powered Nimitz-class supercarriers and 1 Ford-class carrier, supplemented by 9 amphibious assault ships resembling smaller carriers. Backing them are 22 cruisers, 72 destroyers, and numerous other warships. This armada can project power, deter aggression, or launch devastating preemptive strikes anywhere on the globe the moment conflict erupts, even facing advanced threats like Russia's Kinzhal hypersonic missile or China's developmental anti-ship ballistic missiles reportedly capable of Mach 10 speeds and 4,000 kilometers range. The F-18 Super Hornets and F-35C fighters launched from U.S. carriers can rapidly intercept and counterattack enemy fleets. American carriers are not invincible. A massive, coordinated saturation attack with hypersonic missiles could theoretically overwhelm their defenses. But even in such a worst-case scenario, the attacker would immediately face devastating retaliation from the ballistic missiles. launched by America's 14 Ohio-class nuclear submarines, lurking unseen beneath the waves. Furthermore, the fleet of 11 amphibious dock landing ships Harper's Ferry and Whidbey Island classes can swiftly deploy America's most elite Marines to seize enemy coastal bases. While damaging the U.S. Navy is not impossible for major powers like Russia or China, completely destroying this colossal force is practically unthinkable. The ensuing counterattack would bring consequences so catastrophic that any nation would realize the wisdom of avoiding conflict with the U.S. military from the outset. Yet, even with dominant air and sea power, true security from existential threats requires the ultimate backstop: a massive nuclear arsenal. This third reason may be the most crucial factor deterring direct great power conflict with the United States. As the first nation to use nuclear weapons in war, the U.S. maintains a formidable stockpile, around 5,000 nuclear warheads in total, with roughly 2,150 operational. This includes 1,950 strategic warheads deployed on 798 delivery systems, and about 200 tactical nuclear warheads deployed across Europe. America's nuclear forces remain among the most modern and strategically effective deterrents worldwide. Like Russia and China, ICBMs form the core of U.S. nuclear strategy. In a total war scenario, these missiles, carrying devastating warheads, would target enemy cities and critical infrastructure, while plans exist to reduce the land-based ICBM force slightly to around 400 to 420 missiles, and potentially convert multiple warhead missiles to single warhead configurations. Many experts believe the U.S. retains the capability to rapidly rearm these missiles, with hundreds of reserve warheads if a major conflict erupts. These ICBMs are deployed across three wings: the 90th Missile Wing Wyoming, 91st Minot, and 341st Montana, each controlling 150 missiles. Armed typically with W-78 or W-87 warheads, each possesses destructive power up to 300 kilotons, dwarfing the Little Boy bomb dropped on Hiroshima, which generated a 7,000 Celsius fireball and incinerated everything within 1.5 kilometers. The nuclear threat isn't just land-based. Strategic bombers like the B-52 and B-2 Spirit carry nuclear gravity bombs, B-61-7, B-61-11, B-83-1, and air-launched cruise missiles with nuclear warheads W-801 on the B-5-H. Hundreds of these warheads are ready at bomber bases like Barksdale, Minot, and Whiteman. Beyond strategic weapons, the U.S. possesses a large inventory of non-strategic, tactical nuclear weapons for smaller-scale contingencies. While less devastating than strategic warheads, their power is sufficient to destroy large military bases, cities, or industrial complexes. Around 100 such weapons, primarily B-61 to 3/4 bombs, are reportedly deployed at airbases in 5 NATO countries: Belgium, Germany, Italy, Netherlands, Turkey, with allied air forces trained to deliver them. Hundreds more are stored domestically, some potentially arming Tomahawk cruise missiles. While all-out nuclear war remains unlikely, adversaries might resort to asymmetric tactics, funding insurgents, or terrorists armed with light weapons to attack U.S. interests globally, attempting to bleed American strength through protracted, low-intensity conflicts. In these scenarios, where insurgents fight with nothing to lose, another critical American advantage comes into play: precision-guided munitions, PGMs. These smart bombs and missiles, though relatively recent developments, have proven their devastating effectiveness on 21st century battlefields. Their ability to strike targets with incredible speed and accuracy makes them a key reason why challenging the U.S. military directly is ill-advised. Experiences in the Middle East and Africa clearly demonstrate the efficiency of PGMs in destroying command centers, vehicles, and infrastructure. Military experts note that these weapons significantly reduce the time, manpower, and cost associated with military operations. In the 1991 Gulf War, PGMs accounted for only 3 to 5% of munitions used, requiring a massive 5-month buildup. By the 2003 Iraq War, that proportion jumped to 70%. In the fight against ISIS, precision weapons played a decisive role, eliminating not just bases and equipment, but also high-level terrorist leaders. This ability to strike quickly, cleanly, and effectively makes PGMs a favored tool of the US military, despite their increasing cost. Many believe the era of conventional artillery dominance is ending, giving way to near-perfectly accurate smart munitions. Finally, no account of modern American military might is complete without mentioning its formidable fleet of unmanned aerial vehicles, UAVs, drones. Since their emergence, these often small aircraft have become a nightmare for forces opposing the US. Lightweight, with low radar signatures, long operational ranges, high maneuverability, and modular designs allowing easy upgrades, UAVs are revolutionizing warfare tactics, much like the machine gun did generations ago. Leveraging its advanced technological base, the US fields over 1,000 UAVs of various types, most far surpassing global competitors. They excel at intelligence, surveillance, reconnaissance, ISR, electronic warfare, and precision strikes, often at lower costs than manned aircraft. They can operate independently or integrate into manned fighter formations. The fearsome capability of US drones is no exaggeration. The world watched in 2020 as a US drone assassinated Iranian General Qasem Soleimani with chilling precision, demonstrating America's ability to target specific individuals deemed national security threats almost anywhere in the world. These 5 pillars: unparalleled air power, global naval reach, the ultimate nuclear deterrent, cutting-edge precision munitions, and a revolutionary drone fleet combine to create a military force of staggering capability and multi-domain dominance. While challenges exist and new threats emerge, the sheer destructive potential and technological sophistication wielded by the United States military ensure that initiating direct conflict remains an extraordinarily perilous gamble for any potential adversary.